Welcome to Soul Ascendancy, a place where we explore profound truths and awaken the spirit within. In this video, we're diving into the reality of being chosen by God, a truth that sets you apart, that marks you as different, and a truth that will resonate with your soul. It's not just about being born in this world. It's about being born for a divine purpose, a higher calling that only you can fulfill. So as you watch, I invite you to open your heart and mind to this sacred truth and let it speak to your spirit. Throughout the Bible, we are reminded that God's presence is always with us, especially in our moments of loneliness and struggle. In Isaiah 41, God speaks directly to his people, saying, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This promise is not just for the people of Israel, but for all of us. No matter what we face, God is with us, offering his strength and support. Even when we cannot see him, he is there, guiding us through the darkest times. Jesus himself, in the Gospel of Matthew, assures us in Matthew 28:20, "And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age." These words bring comfort and encouragement, knowing that Christ is always by our side. He understands our loneliness, our pain, and our struggles, and he offers his peace and presence in every circumstance. As we walk through life, we can find comfort in the knowledge that we are never truly alone. God's love surrounds us, and his presence sustains us. As we embark on this journey together, I ask you to do one thing. Please comment 99 below if you feel the resonance of these words, if your heart stirs with the knowledge that you are indeed chosen. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Soul Ascendancy, because we're just beginning, and there's so much more to explore together. Now let's step into the understanding of what it truly means to be born different, to be chosen. In a world that constantly pushes conformity, where fitting in is often seen as the key to success, those who are truly chosen by God stand apart. They are born with unique gifts, talents, and a divine purpose that sets them on a path unlike any other. These chosen ones may have felt different from a young age, misunderstood, perhaps even isolated, but in that difference lies a powerful truth. It is not a burden, but a clear sign of divine selection, a mark that shows they have been called for something greater than themselves. Being born different is no coincidence. It is a deeply profound truth that resonates at the very core of who the chosen ones are. These individuals are often more sensitive, more attuned to the spiritual realm, and more perceptive than others. They carry wisdom that far exceeds their years and possess a resilience that helps them overcome obstacles in ways that others cannot. While this can sometimes feel isolating, it is precisely these traits that equip them to fulfill the divine mission that God has placed before them. They're uniquely crafted to navigate a world that might not always understand them, but their strength lies in their ability to stay true to the path that God has set for them. Throughout history, there have been countless examples of those who were born different and were called by God to accomplish great things. Moses, David, Esther, each one faced their own set of challenges and struggles. But through their unique journeys, they accomplished feats that others thought were impossible. These individuals weren't just born to exist. They were born to shine, to lead, to make a difference. The same is true for those of you who feel different, who feel set apart. Your journey may not look like anyone else's, but that's because you were born to bring light into the world in a way that only you can. God has placed a calling on your life, and he has equipped you to fulfill that calling in ways that no one else can. Your difference is not something to hide. It is your strength. It is a gift that you must embrace, lean into, and allow God to guide you through. You were never meant to blend in with the crowd, to follow the world's standards of success and popularity. You were born to rise above, to stand as a beacon of hope, love, and truth in a world that so desperately needs it. If you have ever felt out of place, as though you don't quite fit in with the world around you, take heart. That feeling is not a mistake. It is a sign that God has set you apart for a reason. You are chosen. Your unique qualities are not only intentional, but essential for the purpose he has planned for your life. Embrace your difference, for it is the very evidence that you are chosen by God to make a difference in the world. God's timing is perfect, and the journey he has laid out for you is one that will require faith, patience, and a deep trust in His plan. As you continue on this path, remember that the struggles you face are not signs of weakness, but opportunities for growth. So challenges you encounter will shape you, refine you, and make you more equipped to fulfill the divine purpose that only you can carry. And remember, the next prayer you speak, the next moment of reflection, might be the very word you need to hear. Stay connected to God, stay in His presence, and trust that He is guiding you every step of the way. So there's a deeper spiritual calling within those who are chosen, a call that often goes unnoticed by the world, but is deeply felt by the Spirit. C.S. Lewis, in his writings, explored the theme of being chosen, set apart for something great. He believed that those who feel out of place, who feel different, are often responding to this deeper calling. They are guided by an inner sense of truth and purpose that goes beyond the superficial values of the world. For them, the desire for something greater, something eternal, is a sign that they were made for a purpose beyond earthly understanding. In his book, Mere Christianity, Lewis reflects on the nature of this calling. He writes, "If I find in myself desires which nothing in this world can satisfy, the only logical explanation is that I was made for another world." Statement captures the essence of feeling different, of being born for a divine purpose. It is a signpost that points to a life of spiritual significance, fulfillment, and alignment with the Creator's will. When you feel different, it is not a sign of something wrong with you. It is a sign that you are destined for something greater. Chosen ones, you are not called to follow the fleeting trends of this world. You are not meant to chase after the empty promises of fame, fortune, or material success. Your path is guided by a deeper purpose, a calling that transcends the superficial values of the world. As Jesus said in Matthew 6:33, "But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." This is the foundation of your life, the guiding principle that will keep you focused on your divine mission. True success is not measured by the wealth you accumulate, but by the depth of your relationship with God and the alignment of your life with His will. Those who are chosen do not make decisions based on what the world deems important. They do not chase after the latest trends or opportunities without discerning whether they align with God's plan. This ability to resist the pressures of the world, to say no when necessary, is not weakness but strength. It is a testament to your unwavering commitment to live by God's word and to walk according to His purpose. The world may call you strange, but in reality, you are wise. You know that not all that glitters is gold, and you choose to walk the path that honors God, even when it is not the easiest or most popular choice. Proverbs 18 reminds us, "Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness." For the chosen ones, wealth is not measured in material possessions, but in righteousness. You prioritize spiritual truth over worldly gains, understanding that while material wealth is temporary, spiritual treasures are eternal. This perspective allows you to stay grounded, to resist the temptations of the world, and to keep your eyes fixed on the eternal rewards that await those who walk in God's light. Consider the story of Daniel. He was born different, set apart by God for a special purpose. When offered the king's delicacies, he chose instead to remain faithful to God's laws, understanding that his commitment to God would bring him greater blessings than the fleeting pleasures of the world. Daniel's story teaches us that being chosen often means making difficult choices, choosing God's path even when it seems counterintuitive to the world's standards. But through those choices, God blessed Daniel with wisdom, favor, and success beyond measure. As chosen ones, you see the world through a different lens. You have a unique perspective that allows you to perceive things others cannot, to envision possibilities that seem impossible to others, and to strive for things that others fear to reach. When you are chosen, you make decisions not based on the circumstances of the present moment, but in alignment with the divine purpose God has written into your life. Your path is not defined by what is happening right now, but by what God has already planned for you. This is the walk of faith, a journey guided not by sight but by the Spirit. As the Apostle Paul reminds us in 2 Corinthians 5:7, "For we walk by faith, not by sight. Your steps are ordered by the Lord, not confined by the limitations of the present, but propelled by the promises of the future." You may face obstacles, but you know that God is leading you through them, and in His timing, you will arrive at the destination He has set for you. Imagine the journey of Moses. Born different, set apart from birth, he was placed in a position that defied the odds. While others saw a Red Sea, Moses saw a pathway to freedom. Where others saw a desert, he saw a place of preparation. Moses had the vision to see beyond the present, to understand that obstacles were merely opportunities for God's power to be displayed. This is the perspective of the chosen ones, a perspective that turns challenges into opportunities, trials into triumphs, and barriers into breakthroughs. When you walk this path, you may often feel isolated, misunderstood, or like you don't quite belong. But let me remind you, chosen one, this is not something to be discouraged by. It's part of the divine plan. You were never meant to fit into the mold the world tries to place on you. You are being shaped for something much greater, something far beyond what your eyes can see in this moment. The beauty of being chosen is that you are marked, set apart for a purpose that only you can fulfill. The world may try to make you feel small, but I want you to know your calling is vast. It's bigger than anything the world can offer. You might face doubts, and you might wonder if you're strong enough to walk this journey. But trust me, chosen one, you are equipped with everything you need. The same God who called you is the one who strengthens you. You don't walk this path alone. He walks with you every step of the way. And when the path gets hard, remember that the more difficult the journey, the greater the reward. I know it can be hard when you don't have the approval of those around you. Society tells you to conform, to blend in, to follow the crowd. But God has not called you to follow the crowd. He has called you to stand out. He has called you to be the light in the darkness, to be the beacon that others can turn to when they feel lost. Chosen one, do not fear standing alone. Embrace the difference within you, because it is not just a difference. It is a divine distinction. Your unique gifts, your light, are meant to shine in this world, to point others to the truth of God's love. Your strength doesn't come from the validation of others. It comes from the intimate relationship you have with God. The peace that flows from that connection is unshakable. When the storms of life rise up and the winds of adversity howl, you remain anchored in that peace. It is a peace that transcends all understanding, a peace that guards your heart and mind, a peace that is a direct gift from God. This peace doesn't make sense to the world, but to you, it is everything. It is the assurance that you are where you need to be, doing what you were meant to do. It is so important to remember that, as a chosen one, your journey is not about you. It's about God's glory. It's about shining His light, revealing His love, and being a vessel through which others can encounter His grace. You are not the main character of your story. God is. He has placed you in this world for such a time as this, and every challenge you face, every hardship you endure, is a part of His greater purpose for you. He is using your story to bring hope to others. When people see the way you walk, when they witness your unwavering faith, they will see a reflection of God's love in you. That is what it means to be a chosen one. I want you to think for a moment. Do you remember the times in your life when you thought about giving up? When it seemed like the weight of the world was pressing down on you and everything seemed too much? It is in those moments that God's strength is most evident in your life. It's in those moments that you realize the true meaning of Philippians 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You have the power to rise above the challenges, to continue walking even when the path is rough, because He is with you, guiding you, giving you the strength to keep going. Understand this. Your life is not random. It's not a series of coincidences. It's divinely orchestrated. You were placed in this time, in this place, for a reason. The things you've gone through, the struggles you've faced, they've shaped you, molded you, and prepared you for this moment. Your higher purpose is unfolding right before your eyes. You are not here by accident. You have a unique role to play in God's kingdom, and He will equip you for the task. And you begin to walk in the fullness of who you are. When you begin to truly embrace your calling, the world will take notice. They may not understand you at first, but they will see your light, and in time, they will come to you, seeking the hope and peace that you carry. They will be drawn to the God within you, and through you, His love will touch their hearts. Do not shy away from your purpose. Do not let fear or doubt hold you back. God has equipped you with everything you need. He has placed His Spirit within you to guide you, to direct your steps. You are not alone on this journey. The Holy Spirit is your constant companion, whispering the wisdom of heaven into your heart, reminding you that you are never without help. As a chosen one, you may face rejection, misunderstanding, and even persecution. The world may try to label you, to place you in a box, but you are not defined by their labels. You are defined by your relationship with God. Your identity is found in Him, and in Him alone. When you stand firm in that truth, nothing can shake you. You are unmovable, unwavering, and this strength comes from knowing who you are and whose you are. You are a child of the Most High, and nothing in this world can take that away from you. When you embrace your identity as a chosen one, you walk in the power of that truth. You know that you're not just another face in the crowd. You are set apart, chosen for a divine purpose that will not be thwarted. So, chosen ones, stand tall. Walk in the boldness of your calling. Let your faith be unwavering, your love be limitless, and your wisdom be like a light shining in the darkness. You were created to make a difference, to bring God's kingdom to earth in a way that only you can. You are here for a purpose, and that purpose is far greater than anything the world can offer. Remember, when you feel alone, when you feel overwhelmed, God is with you. His love surrounds you, His peace fills you, and His strength empowers you. You are not walking this journey in your own strength, but and that makes all the difference. So, I encourage you, chosen ones, to continue walking in the fullness of who you are. Do not let the world sway you. Keep your eyes fixed on the eternal, on the divine calling that God has placed upon your life. Let your light shine brightly, for the world needs it now more than ever. You are the hope that others need. You are the light that will guide them to the truth of God's love. Keep shining and keep walking in your divine purpose. The world is waiting for you. If this message resonated with you, I encourage you to comment 99 below and let us know how God is moving in your life. And don't forget to subscribe to the Soul Ascendancy channel, where we continue to walk this journey together, growing in faith, love, and wisdom. God bless you, chosen ones. Keep shining. As you reflect on the solitude you've experienced, remember this. It is not a punishment, nor a sign of abandonment. God has a divine purpose for every season of life, especially when we feel the pangs of loneliness. In those quiet moments, when the world is distant, God is near, whispering words of encouragement and transformation. The emptiness you may feel, the void that seems insurmountable, is actually a sacred space, a space meant for His presence. And when you invite Him in, He fills you with a peace that surpasses understanding, with a serenity that no earthly possession or human relationship can ever provide. There is an undeniable beauty in moments of isolation. The world often tells us that being alone is something to be feared, that solitude is a negative experience, but God's view is different. He leads us into these solitary spaces for a purpose. He doesn't leave us in these moments. He brings us closer to Himself. Think of how often you've prayed, sought His presence, and in the stillness, found the answers you were searching for. It is in those moments that you discover not only who you are, but also whose you are. God is revealing Himself to you in ways you may never have imagined. You are not alone in your feelings of isolation. We all experience it to varying degrees. It is important to understand that these feelings are not a reflection of your worth or your place in God's plan. They are part of the journey that shapes us, molds us, and prepares us for what lies ahead. God's love does not depend on our circumstances. He is with us in every moment, not just when the room is full, but especially when it is empty. He knows the depths of your heart, and in your vulnerability, He meets you with compassion and grace. When you feel as though you're walking through life unnoticed or unappreciated, remind yourself that God sees you. He sees your heart. He understands your deepest desires, your longings, your pains, and while the world may overlook you, He never will. His love for you is unwavering, unshakable, and unchanging. You are His chosen, His beloved, and He has a plan for your life that far exceeds anything you can imagine. Consider the times when you've achieved great things, reached milestones you thought would bring fulfillment, only to find that they did not. These achievements, while important, are fleeting. True fulfillment is not found in worldly success or recognition. It is found in knowing and experiencing God's presence in your life. It is in walking with Him, day by day, moment by moment. It is in trusting that He is using every season, every moment of solitude, every struggle, to refine you and prepare you for something greater. God does not waste anything. He uses every experience, every joy, and every heartache for His purpose. You might not always understand why things happen the way they do, but trust that He has a plan. When the path seems unclear, remember that He is the light guiding your way. Trust in His timing and know that He is never late. He is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating events in your life that will bring about His perfect will. Even in your solitude, God is doing something powerful within you. You may not always see it, but He is at work. And while the world might focus on what's visible, God focuses on the unseen, on your heart, your character. He is shaping you into the person He has called you to be. And though it may be a process, it is one that will result in something beautiful, something worthy of His kingdom. As you walk through life, remember that you are not alone in your journey. God walks with you every step of the way. And though others may come and go, He remains faithful. His love is constant. He is the one who knows you better than anyone else, who understands your deepest thoughts and emotions, and He is the one who will never leave you nor forsake you. Take heart, knowing that the loneliness you feel is not permanent. It is simply a season, and when you emerge from this season, you will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the future He has planned for you. Your time in solitude is not wasted. It is a sacred opportunity for you to draw closer to God, to hear His voice more clearly, and to experience His love in a deeper, more intimate way. When you find yourself in moments of isolation, remember that God is using this time to refine you, to prepare you for what's to come. Trust in His process. Know that He is doing something powerful within you, even when you cannot see it. Your journey is not over, and with God, you will go far. And as you continue to walk with Him, you will find that the loneliness fades away, replaced with a deep sense of peace and purpose that can only come from His presence. As you continue in your journey, I encourage you to seek God in the quiet moments and the spaces where you feel most alone. He is waiting for you, eager to meet you in those moments of solitude. And as you draw closer to Him, you will find that His presence fills every void, every longing, every desire. His love is enough. It is more than enough. And it is the one thing that will never fail you. Remember, in the moments when you feel like you're standing alone, when the weight of the world seems too much to carry, take comfort in knowing that you are never truly alone. God is with you, and His presence is constant, unchanging, and unwavering. No matter where you are or what you're going through, He is by your side, offering you His peace, His strength, and His love. You don't have to navigate the challenges of life on your own. God is walking with you, lifting you up when you are weary, and guiding you through even the darkest times. In His presence, you will find everything you need to face whatever comes your way. He is your refuge, your source of strength, and your constant companion. When life feels overwhelming, turn to Him, for He is always there to provide the comfort and reassurance you need. Rest in His promises, knowing that He will never leave you or forsake you. His love is a steady anchor, and His peace will carry you through every storm. If this message resonates with you, and you feel it in your heart, we invite you to take a moment to engage with us. Comment 99 below and let us know that you are walking this journey of faith with us. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, where we continue to share encouragement, support, and messages of hope. Together, we can lift each other up, encouraging one another to stay strong in faith, knowing that no matter what, God's presence is always with us. Let's walk this path together, trusting in His love and walking in His light every step of the way. As we reflect upon the journey we've been walking together, one truth stands clear. We are never truly alone, though there may be times when our hearts feel distant and the world seems overwhelmingly silent. The feeling of isolation can creep in subtly, making us question our worth and our connection to the divine. Yet, in these moments when the world around us falls silent, it is often then that God is speaking most profoundly into our hearts. We are surrounded by distractions, by the noise of everyday life. But it is when we pause, when we embrace the quiet, that we begin to truly hear His voice. His whisper, soft but unshakable, calls us into a deeper relationship with Him. A relationship that transcends the superficial connections we often chase. God's design for our lives is one of intimate connection with Him. And sometimes that means entering into a period of solitude where we can hear Him clearly, without the interference of external noise. Just as a musician needs silence to compose the most beautiful symphonies, we need solitude to hear the symphony of God's love, His calling, and His purpose for us. It is in these times of aloneness that He shapes us, refines us, and brings us closer to His will. The feelings of emptiness that we experience are not punishments but invitations. An invitation to move closer to the one who fills every void, every longing, every part of our being that nothing else on earth could satisfy. In our loneliness, He is there, waiting to comfort and guide us. We may not always see it, but His presence is with us, filling us with the strength to press on. When we seek solace in the presence of God, we are reminded that He is not far off. He is close, closer than we realize. His promises are eternal, and His word is true. Even when it feels like no one else understands our pain, our struggles, or our hearts, God sees us, knows us, and loves us unconditionally. This truth can be a balm to the wounds of isolation, and when we hold on to it, it allows us to face the world with a renewed sense of purpose and strength. It helps us to remember that we are not alone in our journey. Even when we walk through difficult or lonely seasons, His presence is enough to sustain us, and it is His love that fills the empty spaces within us. We often seek validation and connection from others, but it is essential to recognize that true fulfillment comes not from human approval but from the validation of our Creator. It is He who has called us, He who has placed a unique purpose within each of us, and He who will equip us to fulfill that purpose. The world may tell us that we need to look a certain way, live a certain life, or achieve certain goals to be worthy. But in God's eyes, we are already enough. His love is not conditional upon our success, our accomplishments, or our ability to fit into a mold. We are His children, created in His image. This understanding allows us to rest in His presence, to be filled with peace, and to embrace the moments of solitude as opportunities to grow in intimacy with Him. As we continue on our journey, we may face challenges, setbacks, and moments of deep loneliness, but we must remember that these are not signs that God has abandoned us. On the contrary, they are times when He is drawing us closer to Himself. It is through these times of solitude that He refines our faith, strengthens our character, and deepens our relationship with Him. It is in the quiet moments that we learn to trust Him more fully, to surrender our fears and doubts, and to rest in His perfect will. There will be moments in life when we feel misunderstood, when those around us cannot fully grasp the depth of our struggles or the weight of the burdens we carry. It's easy to feel invisible during these times, as if our pain is unnoticed or unacknowledged. The people around us may not always understand what we are going through, and sometimes their attempts to comfort us may fall short. But in these moments, it's important to remember that there is one who sees it all. He sees beyond the surface, beyond the outward appearance of strength or composure that we might try to present. He looks straight into our hearts, understanding every thought, every emotion, every cry of the soul. He knows the things we try to hide, the fears we struggle with, and the loneliness that often feels like a silent companion. God's understanding of our pain goes far deeper than any human empathy could ever reach. While others may be limited by their own perspectives and experiences, God, in His infinite wisdom and love, understands the full extent of our suffering. His awareness of our struggles is not passive. He feels them with us. In fact, He knows the pain of loneliness better than we do. Jesus Himself experienced the depths of loneliness and isolation during His time on earth, so He understands what it means to feel abandoned and misunderstood. When we are in the midst of our own battles, we are never truly alone. God walks with us, sharing in our pain and offering us His comfort and peace. His heart breaks alongside ours, and He is not distant or indifferent to our pain. Rather, He is always present, always ready to come to our aid. Whether in times of emotional turmoil or physical exhaustion, He is there, offering His healing touch, His restoration, and His unwavering love. No matter how much we may feel forgotten or abandoned, God promises that He will never leave us. His love is steadfast, immovable, and eternal. It does not depend on our circumstances or our ability to measure up. It is a love that is freely given, regardless of our weaknesses or shortcomings. When we feel overwhelmed by life's challenges, it's easy to forget that God's promises are always true. But in the midst of our doubts and fears, we can hold on to the truth that His promises are unwavering. He will not abandon us in our times of need, and He will always make a way for us to experience His peace and healing. The weight of our burdens may feel unbearable at times, but we are never carrying them alone. God is with us, and He is working in our lives to bring about restoration, healing, and wholeness. We are never forgotten. We are always held in His loving care. It is in the quiet, in the times of solitude, that we discover the fullness of God's love and presence. It is here that we learn to lean on Him, to trust in His timing, and to surrender our fears and anxieties. In these moments, we realize that we are not empty at all, but rather filled with the love and strength of our Creator. He is our refuge, our rock, and our fortress, and in His presence, we find the peace that surpasses all understanding. As we go through life, we will continue to face moments of isolation, moments when we feel disconnected from the world around us. But let us not forget that these moments are not a sign of abandonment, but an invitation to draw closer to God. In the solitude, He is there, waiting to fill us with His love, His peace, and His purpose. It is in these moments that we can experience the fullness of His presence and the depth of His love. We are chosen, not because of anything we have accomplished, but because of who we are in Christ. This selection is not based on our own efforts, our status, or our perfection, but on the love and grace of God who has called us by name. We are not random or overlooked. We are divinely chosen by the Creator of the universe, and that fact alone speaks volumes about our worth. This divine calling reminds us that we are not defined by our failures, mistakes, or imperfections. Instead, we are defined by God's love for us, a love that is constant and unchanging, no matter where we are or what we go through. We are chosen because of the purpose that He has placed within us, a purpose that has been intricately designed long before we ever drew our first breath. God has called us into a relationship with Him, a relationship that transcends our understanding and transforms the way we see ourselves in the world around us. He has a plan for our lives, one that is full of meaning, hope, and fulfillment. This plan is not always easy to see in the midst of struggles or challenges, but we can trust that God is at work, even when things seem unclear or difficult. The obstacles we face are not a sign that we are forgotten or abandoned. They are part of the process of being shaped and molded for the purpose He has for us. These trials, though painful at times, serve as tools for our growth and preparation, preparing us to walk in the fullness of the destiny He has laid before us. No matter what challenges we face, whether it's loneliness, isolation, or the feeling of being misunderstood, we can rest in the assurance that God is with us every step of the way. In times when we feel disconnected from the world around us, when we feel lost or alone, it is easy to forget that we are not walking this path by ourselves. God's presence is a constant source of comfort, strength, and peace. Even in the quiet moments, when it seems like no one else is around, we are never truly alone. His love is the anchor that holds us steady, even in the deepest moments of loneliness. When everything else fades, His presence fills the empty spaces within us, reassuring us that we are seen, we are loved, and we are never forgotten. In the stillness, we can find His peace, and in that peace, we are reminded of our true identity and the promise of His eternal love. As we continue to walk this journey, let us remember that the moments of solitude are not to be feared, but embraced. They are times when God is speaking to us, refining us, and drawing us closer to Himself. Let us be open to His voice, to His presence, and to the opportunities He provides for us to grow in faith and intimacy with Him. In these times, we are reminded that we are never alone, and that the love of God is enough to sustain us through every trial, every season, and every moment of loneliness. So, as you listen to this message today, remember that you are not alone. God is with you, always. Even in the moments when you feel disconnected or isolated, know that His love is surrounding you, filling you and drawing you closer to His heart. Trust in His promises, lean on His love, and know that He is working in you and through you, even in the moments of solitude. And if this message has touched your heart, I encourage you to comment 99 below and subscribe to the Soul Ascendancy. Together, we can walk in faith, encourage one another, and support each other on this incredible journey. May the peace of God be with you always.